Suffolk Pod Show is produced and managed by podtalk.co.uk. I'm Mark Mason.
And I'm Susanna Hornby. Episode 46, chatting to Charlotte Giddings, co-founder of Brownie and the Bean, a boutique brownie gifting company based here in Suffolk. And here she is, it's Charlotte Giddings. Hello Charlotte, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Yes, full of the joys of winter.
And it's Monday morning, I'm impressed.
Yeah, I've got plenty of makeup on, so I look a lot brighter than I actually feel inside, but yeah.
Was it an early start?
It's always an early start, darling. We barely ever sleep. I once blinked my eyes and thought it was a lovely, nice, restful, time, but yes, unfortunately, we barely ever sleep.
I know, well, you were saying earlier, you 4 o'clock mornings?
Yes, generally.
Is that every day?
At the moment, it will probably be like that until probably sort of end of June, Father's Day time. Mm-hmm. We do have the odd sort of times where it is quieter. We'll have a few days where we can sort of get up at 5 or 6 instead of 4.
Oh wow, what a lion!
That's a really luxurious lying. Yeah, but generally, from now onwards, that's it. It's, by weekends and by lie-ins. But, I mean, we've got 2 young kids, so lie-ins is generously 6:30 at best.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, so it sort of compensates for that. Now, before we go more into Brownie and the Bean as a company, we really want to know a bit about you, Charlotte, how this all began. And I know you lived in London. Yes. So take us back right to the beginning.
I'm taking you back. So basically, I moved to London. I grew up in Oxford and moved to London to study media and cultural studies at the University of East London. And it was a totally wild time. It really wasn't for me because being the grafter that I am, I just worked constantly. And I was lucky that by the time I was coming to the end of my degree, I had paid work at MTV and places like that. So it was looking really good. And I had a wonderful career in TV and film, which was very exciting, but also incredibly exhausting, incredibly tough. And I reached the point where I think I was 33. I'd been doing it for 20 years by that point. I'd been writing for newspapers from the age of 10. I'd been working behind the scenes for television companies like Nickelodeon from the age of 13 in every single school holiday. And I'd reached burnt out point. I really, really had. And I felt like I wanted to do something with purpose because I'd given every single inch of my body to the likes of Simon Cowell to make him an extra couple of zeros on the end of his already enormous wages. And I just thought, why am I doing this? It was crazy. There was a primetime Saturday night show, which isn't The X Factor. And I had the director call me up and he said that he was changing loads of stuff on the programme. And I was just heartbroken because it was my mum's birthday and I'd organised a surprise party. Yeah. And everything was on me and I had to sort out this issue. And I got the phone from him. I said, I'm not doing this anymore. So, I sadly walked away, but I think it was definitely the right thing to do. And I had a bit of a flirt with some charity work in between time, which was actually in the food industry.
Before you go on to where I think you're about to say where you met Luke, your husband, can you tell us what exactly it was you were doing? Was it continuity? No.
Yes. So,
right.
Okay. When at the point where I left, I was the senior continuity producer at ITV. So I worked across every single channel, but my main channel that I focused on was ITV1. And it was a lot of responsibility for somebody quite young.
Yeah.
Now I look back and see the huge kind of enormity of the responsibility I had. But I'm one of these people, I take things so seriously and I really give my heart and soul to it. And I think that's probably why I burnt out a bit too soon. I wasn't one of those people that could just go home and switch off.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be if you were doing it at that age. I mean, it must have been your every waking hour. You must have just been living through that job.
Yeah. And even, I can recall now being at my auntie's house and I'd gone to hers for the weekend and it was I'm a Celebrity. And that was a big time for us at work. And I remember, a call came in because something was about to go down behind the scenes and it was about to happen because there was a bit of a delay. And I remember just thinking, I can't relax. I can't do anything because as long as the TV is running, I'm working. And, I found that really, really tough, not being able to switch off. So I decided to start my own business and never, ever, ever sleep.
Yeah, there's Is there a method to your madness? We'll find out in a minute. But, so you left, you did some charity work.
Yes.
And then what happened?
And then I decided to go to a gig, a Giles Peterson gig, and it was a world music festival. Mm-hmm. And I was so determined to go to this gig. I really, really, really wanted to go to it. And I managed to find someone to come with me that I didn't really even know, just because I was so desperate to go to the gig. And I was in the queue, and this beautiful blonde-haired chap turned around and he said, "Hi, I'm Luke. I sell cheese." And I was like, "You have me a cheese." Honestly, he was gorgeous. He still is. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I thought, wow, he's talking to me. I thought, I'm desperate for the loo, but I can't stop. I've got to stay and chat. And rather embarrassingly, 4 hours later, we realised that we'd ordered these drinks for our friends and hadn't gone to give them to them. They were really, really warm, and just sort of said, "Oh God, we're going to have to go back to our friends. They're going to think that we're crazy." So he said, "Well, I want you to come and meet my friends first." And I had a pink jacket on, and I look younger than I am anyway, but Luke introduced me to his best mate, and he said, "Dude, what are you doing?" And then I went, "Hi, I'm Charlotte." He said, "Dude, what's going on?" And I was like, "How are you?" And he could hear the tone of my voice and hear that I was old. He thought I was a child. He thought he'd been missing for 4 hours and come back with a child. I was like, "I know I look young," but he was like, "Until you spoke, I thought you got a child back with it."
And how old were you really?
I was 31. And his look of pain on his face, he's like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
So he had to explain himself. Not for long, though.
And he was like, "How old are you?" And I said, 31. He was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not a child." So I threw that jacket in the bin. I never wore it again. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, so
Dear, that's hilarious.
yeah. So after that, we
Right. Compose ourselves.
Yeah. So after that, we sort of went out on a date a few days later. And then that was it, really. Mm-hmm. I just knew straight away. I thought he was the most incredible person. And the biggest thing for me is he loves music and loves food and drink as much as I do. And he said for our second date, he said, "Would you like to come to my house? I'm just going to play some Toots and the Maytals and I'm going to make a chocolate cake." And I was like, "Oh my God, this man is perfect." I'm so easily pleased. Just play some Toots and Maytals.
No, he sounds quite a rarity, to be fair.
Yeah. And I saw this chocolate cake he was making because I thought he would just get one of those Jane Asher, efforts that you pour out and just add water to. I thought, oh my God, he can actually cook. This is incredible. So, I was like, God, this one's a keeper. Oh my God. Called my mum and everything. And then after that, we've been inseparable ever since.
Did you go and buy some grown-up clothes?
I did. And then he had to have a word with me because he said I was dressing too old. He was like, "You've got to understand, you look really young. So what you should do is, just don't dress that old." And I thought, well, I don't want you to be, arrested or something.
What, are you wearing a pair of cords or something?
No, it was like, the shift dresses with the jackets. But because I'm so short, I think I just look like a little old lady. So, I did go and buy some more grown-up clothes.
So he continued to cook for you, and you continued to stay in love.
Oh, yes. He cooked up a storm. He opened my eyes to this amazing culinary world. He is so interested. I've never met anybody this interested in cooking. We got into, Eritrean food and all sorts of different sort of wonderful types of food. And there's a wonderful deli in Peckham that you can get some amazing Persian ingredients. And he used to make all these amazing meals. And I just thought, I'm so lucky. And he used to start work earlier than me and finish earlier than me. So I'd get home and there'd be a smorgasbord out for me. Or I remember once I was walking home from the train station and his nickname for me is Turk, as in turkey, as in chicken turkey. And I could hear Turk, Turk, Turk. And I thought, what is going on? I turned around, he's sat on top of a mound with like a barbecue, making baba ganoush. I was like, He's like, I'm making baba ganoush, man. Why are you here on top of a mound? He's like, I just wanted to be in the outdoors. I mean, I must say, he's quite an eccentric chap. He's very shy, but he's very eccentric and he's very much a hippie. So, I then learned that this sort of thing would be completely normal.
So you have breakfast out in the garden in the middle of the winter?
All sorts of things. Yeah, we were barbecuing on Boxing Day last year.
Oh, I like that idea though. That's great.
Yeah.
So at some point he asked you to marry him.
He did. Mm-hmm. This is a bit of
Did that involve
story.
food? Oh God, I knew it would be.
So every year on New Year's Eve, because he used to finish work really late because he worked in the cheese industry and everyone used to come in and get their last minute cheese. Every year on New Year's Eve, he'd come back and we'd open up the champagne and we'd play a game of charades. And every single year, he's such a numpty. He would pick out the card that always looked like, will you marry me? But it would be something like Real Housewives of something is what's on the card, and then he'd get down on one knee and get his arm out, and I'm thinking he's proposing every single time. Every single one he picked up, and in the end it got to the point where I was crying on New Year's Eve one year. I was like, how do you pick every card out that looks like a proposal and it's not a proposal? And he was like, I just don't know. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just pick them all out. Why are they even in the box still? And so we'd had our daughter, and the year he did actually put "Will you marry me" on the charade box, our daughter started throwing up, projectile vomiting at 5 to midnight.
Okay.
And this is a real too much information story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. So she wouldn't breastfeed. So I called the National Breastfeeding Helpline. They said, this might sound a bit strange, but if you all take your clothes off and cuddle one another, it will magically start the milk. So he was supposed to propose to me at midnight, and instead we're all lying naked on the floor, cuddling by the fire, waiting for my milk to come in. It was such a distraction, he forgot all about it. Yeah, it did work, it did work, just in case. We just all got naked. I mean, you probably got a really awful idea about us. It all sounds a bit strange, but yeah, it did work. And she stopped being sick. And I thought, well, we haven't played charades and, what's going on? And then it was my birthday 3 weeks later, and he did like a Charlotte festival. He called it Char Fest, and I'm a bit partial to KFC, but don't tell anybody. He made his own KFC, like he found the secret ingredients and the secret recipe, and he even made the boxes. He got like catering boxes and like put photos of me all around it, and then the charades box came out, and there was a ring inside the charades box. So after all, it did play a part, but yes, it was quite a number.
I can't believe that. I know. I'm quite surprised you said yes after having to wait so long.
I know. It was a long time. Honestly, it was ridiculous. I was more upset that he didn't even attempt to get the charades box out on that New Year's Eve. I was like, the chicken. I was fuming. But yes, it was all worth the wait in the end.
So, this is all in London, but at some point you decided, which one of you decided to take the leap and move up to Suffolk?
Well, I was watching Location, and it was filmed in North Lopham, which is just around, a few miles away from here. I couldn't believe how cheap the houses were. This is at the time, obviously, everything's like 3 times the price now. I said to Luke, oh my goodness, we could get so much more for our money. And we had a horrible series of events in London that were quite violent things that sort of happened. And we decided we wanted to move. But the problem was Luke was working all the hours God sends, and we just didn't have time to look for houses. So Luke's mum said, why don't you try escape to the country? Because another right idea. Because they'll help you find a house, and you don't have any time. So I'm going to be really un-PC here, but I sent across the application form. So I thought, I can't be bothered. Yeah, someone else will find me a house, and you had to send a photo of you as a family. Well, if they could have been faster than the speed of light, that's how fast they got back to me. And to be fair, it was literally ticking boxes. I think they were like, person of colour, young. They were we were completely out of the demographic. So I think it was just literally like, they have children, they're not 90. And they were like, oh, we'd love to come and film you. I said, oh, we're going on honeymoon tomorrow. And they said, how about the day you get back from your honeymoon? I was like, whoa. And they said, we'll come the day afterwards. And the audition is the initial interview that you see at the start of it. So it was quite interesting because it will happen very fast. And then we arranged to come up here, and we stayed here for like a week and looked at houses and stuff. And we saw a house in North Lopham, coincidentally, that we really loved, but it didn't work out. And it was kind of like panic stations, really, because we had 2 weeks to find another house before our mortgage product ran out, and we had no time. So Luke's parents came and looked at 14 houses in one day.
Right.
And they said, we found this house, it's not the best, but it's the best of a bad bunch. And we put an offer in, hadn't seen it. We bought it. Luckily, we absolutely love it. Yeah, so we were absolutely thrilled with it. Just over a year ago, Escape to the Country came back and filmed us for a catch-up so they could show our business and our life in the country. So that was quite fun. It was a lot more fun the second time around than the first time.
I bet the stress of that.
Oh, yes.
But I haven't seen it. Got to find that. Yeah. Is it on Netflix or something exciting?
Oh, it probably is. I think it's the most exported show in the world. I think it is.
Right. I didn't know we had a global superstar in our studio. Right. So should we talk about how you decided to create your company?
Okay, so this is another embarrassing story. I'm just going to keep them coming.
Of course it is.
So when I first met Luke's mum and dad, it was a family birthday, and Luke's mum traditionally bakes these brownies for whoever's birthday is. And I felt very self-conscious because we'd only just met a couple of weeks. I was a lot older than him, and he'd only just split up with somebody that was younger than him. So, I was thinking, they're probably just thinking, this older woman, I was really nervous. And she had these brownies out, and I started eating them, and I thought, oh my God, they're so good. And she said, oh, have some more. So I ate some more. I ate the whole tray. And I was trying so hard to be good and, be on my best behaviour, because I was just thinking, oh God, what are they going to think of me? And then I thought, oh my God, I've eaten a whole tray of 16 brownies. They must think I am absolutely insane. And I was mortified. I was absolutely mortified. At the end of it, she said, did you like them, darling? I was like, yes. I said, they are absolutely amazing. I said, you could sell these. And she said, do you think so? And I was like, I'm a brownie fan, and I would pay good money for these. And she was like, oh, and the cogs were turning. I was thinking, this could be a good little line, And years went by. We moved up here, and Luke just finished working for a business in London, and I was just about to have a baby. And we just we were trying to flesh out some ideas. And the problem we had in London was everything we thought of had been done, even with the same name, to the highest standard. And we were really running low on ideas. And Luke had been to a Melton Mowbray festival. It's like a big cheese festival. Yeah. And he said there was a coffee van there, and they were cleaning up. He said, like, they were so busy. And he said, but we need something else. We need a hook. We need like coffee, and then something like the best of. And he came up with the idea of something baked. And I was like, it has to be the brownies, because that's our secret family recipe, So we converted a horse trailer, which we lovingly call Beryl. And we started off on the the festival circuit. And we were sort of getting some random festivals because, you have to book these like a year and a half in advance. But we were like, it's all testing ground. It's fine. And then we thought we need something a bit more permanent. So we decided to go to Bury St Edmunds Station, and we had a pitch there outside the front.
Yeah, you did. Yes, of course you did. Yeah.
Yes, but unfortunately, as soon as we opened, Storm Kira happened, and there were no trains for 3 weeks.
Oh.
And then immediately after that, the family came down, and all 4 of us came down with a mysterious respiratory flu at the time. And it was just absolutely devastating because we knew we couldn't work. We'd heard about this stuff that was going on in China, and it sounded really, really scary. And we felt, because our immune systems were so low, we didn't want to be around other people because we were concerned that we'd give it to them or we could catch this awful coronavirus that was happening. And so we shut 3 weeks before lockdown, and we were all sort of suffering with long-term effects of it. Our son was rushed into hospital twice with breathing difficulties. So
Was it COVID?
yeah, definitely.
Of course it
Definitely
was.
now. Yeah, we know
Yeah.
now that it was. And we kept asking the paramedics, like, is it COVID? And they said, unless you've been to Wuhan, it's completely impossible. And they said, this is the government guidelines. And so we just, we were just in absolute panic stations, really. And then we were stuck with this dilemma because we'd just made this beautiful trailer. We just plunged everything we had into going to Bury St Edmunds Station. And we were outside of all of the sort of loopholes for government assistance. We could not get any help whatsoever. So we just thought, we have to do something, and we were too terrified to get a job in a shop or anything because we still didn't know we had coronavirus at the time. So, I said to Luke, should we just do a post on our local community notice board and see if anybody, picks up on it, see if we can do some doorstep deliveries. And I said, I won't touch anyone. I won't touch anything. Just literally put them outside, send them a text message. And Luke, to pacify me, was like, okay. And he thought, oh, God, no one's going to want doorstep brownies, for crying out loud. Well, he ate his brownie words because within 3 days, we were basically delivering from Cambridge to Suffolk to North Norfolk, Essex, 20 hours a day.
Good grief.
And people had shared this note to every single community notice board for miles away. I had people calling me in Luton saying, yeah, I want a delivery tomorrow night. I was like, I don't think so. I didn't say no to many things, but that was the one I did say no to. Yeah, so basically it took off to the point where I couldn't physically take any more orders because I was on the road all the time and I was having to quickly pull over every time my phone flashed up, and it was just too much. So I decided to get some web developers involved and make a website. And it took way longer than we expected, months and months and months, but we launched our website in September of last year.
Right.
And it was a bit of a weird transition for us because we'd had such a lovely local following, and obviously people were going from paying a certain amount to having to pay for delivery, which, obviously they were just like, why would I pay for delivery when you live around the corner and, can't you just drop it off on your way to such and such? Or, can't I just meet you at Morrison's car park? And
really?
I had all sorts.
Okay.
And, we felt so bad because these people gave us life when we were literally at the end of our tether. And we thought, how can we make these people happy still and, keep up that end of the bargain? And some chance events with a local village store led to us selling our brownies through a village post office. Yeah. And it kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
So
the Garbaldisham post office, no
Garbaldisham
less.
Village.
Helped by my family.
Yes, indeed.
When you were lost.
Yes, very strange story, but I was completely lost, yes, in the wilderness of Norfolk. And some people came to my aid. And yes, and I ended up randomly stumbling upon this shop, and I had an extra box in the back, and I said, have this as a thank you. And they called me and said, we'd love to stock your brownies. So,
Do you sell a lot then through that post office, for example?
Yes, well, we sell them on we deliver them on a Friday, and we deliver a decent amount. People can still collect boxes from there. And we also sell to various other outlets around East Anglia and wholesale all the way up to the Peak District, no less.
Really?
Yes.
Now, the wholesale bit really interests me because there's only so much ground you can cover selling to the private market. So how did you start that mechanism of wholesale? Obviously with the Garbaldisham post office. So from a small country post office to probably all sorts of venues, as you say, as far as the Peak District, how did you do that?
Well, it's been quite a difficult one because a lot of the retailers have been closing down over the last sort of 18 months, which is very, very sad. But a lot of it has been through word of mouth, which is fantastic. A lot of our customers have said, if only you stocked Brownie and the Bean brownies. And, I've had calls from retailers saying, we've been told your brownies are great, so we'd love to stock them. So that's fantastic. But, Yeah, I think some of our customers have seen us on social media as well, and then given us a call because they've seen that we do wholesale. And we also sell to Suffolk Food Hall, which is incredible. And that was me sort of getting in touch with them, because I have my sort of wish list of places that I'd like.
Oh, we do too.
And making phone calls, cold calling people, which isn't the most fun you've ever had, cold calling people, but it's a necessary evil because you can't expect that everybody's heard of you, obviously. Yeah. And, you just need to get the word out there.
Yeah, and which you've done beautifully and very cleverly. And like we say, you're very well known all right now. So it's wholesale, yep. And I keep looking to my right, which no one can see me doing, obviously, because they're listening to this, because I can smell the brownies that you've brought over, which are mince pie brownies.
Yes, mince pie brownies.
I'm going to leave them there. I haven't finished talking yet. We're going to do this at the end. My taste buds are going. And I can't help it. I'm sort of salivating, so excuse this, like, kind of... Right. For Christmas or for birthdays or for anything, they are actually perfect gifts, aren't they? They are beautiful. Your packaging is stunning. Your colour, your branding is beautiful. Haven't looked inside the box yet, but have seen the photos. So what can I get if I want to send someone something for Christmas? What can I get from you?
Well, we don't just sell brownie boxes. So you've got a whole range we've got vegan, without gluten flavours. You can just get brownies only. We've got Christmas themed boxes, but we also support lots of other small businesses all across the country as well. So you can get packages with some delicious English sparkling wine. We've got coffee from a local roaster to us called Butterworths, and tea from Butterworths as well. We've got things like space masks, which...
Yeah, hold that. What is a space mask?
A space mask. Oh, it's amazing. So basically, it's a heated eye mask. And it basically helps you drift off to sleep. They call it interstellar relaxation.
Wow.
And it's a lovely thing to have. If you've just had a bit of a stressful day, run a hot bath, stick a space mask on, and it's sort of 20 minutes of just calmness. And the inside is filled with lavender. So when it heats up, you've just got this lovely scent wafting across your face.
How lovely. Yeah.
Yes. But we've got candles, which is randomly a lady I used to bump into when I lived in London, on the Common. We lived at Plumstead Common. When I was eating my brownies, actually, because we had a local cafe there, and I used to be such a little scoffer. I used to go and get a brownie and then go round to the park and try and walk it off for 8 hours. She happened to move up this way as well. So it's so lovely that she's someone I used to just bump into on my walks in London, and now we sell her candles. So there's a whole range of lovely gifts that you can get. We do slabs as well. So if you're having a party, we can take all the fuss out of the cake, the sweet treat at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they serve up to 16 people. So and everything's beautifully packaged and put together with love.
Yeah.
So.
No, it is. It's beautiful. And your website is absolutely gorgeous as well. Now, we're a business, obviously, and it's a really great idea to give as a corporate gift. And you brand boxes?
Yes, we can actually
that's
brand
so clever.
boxes.
Yeah.
We can brand the brownies as well, and we can work with companies to do sort of unique flavours. So, I don't know if there's a company insider joke about strawberries or something like that. We could do like a strawberry flavoured brownie, especially for you. So, we can do any sort of customization that people require, and the limit is it's infinite.
Now, when I think of brownies, I always think of chocolate, but that's not the case, is it?
No.
So come on, give us some of your range.
So we've got a Blakewell, and people often correct me on Instagram and Facebook. They say, "You do realise it's a Bakewell?" And I say, this is Bean Daddy's, Blondie Bakewell. This is no ordinary Bakewell." So yes, we decided to call it a Blakewell. So this hasn't got any chocolate in at all, and it's a raspberry Bakewell Blondie. We also, in the summer, we did a summer loving box, which was sort of lighter flavours, and we had a lemon meringue blondie in there, and white chocolate and raspberry.
Yeah, delicious.
And one thing I should point out is that we don't just buy things and bung them on the top, with the exception of Oreo and Lotus Biscoff. We make every element. So, for example, this Christmas, we've got coming up one of our favourite flavours, which is the Ambassador, which is a cheeky nod to Ferrero Rocher. people born after the 80s never understand that. To be fair, Luke doesn't even understand it. He doesn't remember the advert.
Do you know, Mr. Ambassador, you are spoiling us tonight.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
Legendary.
Yes, so it's a Ferrero Rocher style, and it's like a hazelnut praline that he's created. So he knows what Ferrero Rocher is, he just doesn't know what the advert is.
And there was a mint one. I saw a mint one the other day.
Yes. So that was our saucy After Eight version. So it's got, basically it's like an After Eight, but it's got added creme de menthe. So it's a bit
naughty,
sort of,
but nice.
A bit naughty.
Sorry, that's someone else's tagline, isn't it? Who says that?
That was fresh cream cakes, wasn't it?
Naughty, but nice.
Yeah.
You won't remember that. That was the 70s. That's way before you.
As you can see. Yes.
Right, I'm going in. Is that okay? I don't
for
want to rip
gold.
this, though. Does it
That's
slide
almost
off?
a shame
You can
to open
slide
the
it
box,
off.
isn't it? Look at that.
Just go at the end.
Oh, just
Mark,
rip
you
it
open
off.
it. Oh, no, here it's coming.
Oh, I've never opened it from that side before. This is new. Enchanté, darling.
Thank you.
I didn't know you could
Do
do
you like
that.
things differently?
Yeah.
Oh, I see, because it should lift up and just be a perfect presentation.
Yeah.
Look.
Go in on
So
the
I've
side.
opened it up. Incorrectly. It's only because I want to use the box again. Give
I
it to somebody
like
else.
it. Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, just have two and then stick the rest back in.
See,
Paper.
unwrapping. Oh, really pretty paper. Oh, look at those. I'm going to take a picture so that anyone who's interested can look at the Instagram page and have a look. I'll make sure it's a beautiful picture, Charlotte.
Oh, thank you.
Because some
very
people
much.
take really bad pictures of food, don't they? And you look at them and
Yeah.
think, what have you done?
And the smudged lenses. You're just like, what were you thinking?
Right, Mark.
No, I don't. Yeah, I will.
I was like nearly offended there. Wow. Oh. Whew.
Charlotte, do you want one?
I'm good, thank you. All I ever do is eat
Eat
brownies all
yeah.
day.
Okay, I'm going in. This looks, oh my goodness, it's rich, soft. I
Wow.
don't like the word moist, but I'm going to use it. Moist. And
That's
it's got a
lovely.
beautiful, what is that, shortbread biscuit base?
Yeah.
Excuse me a minute.
That is so nice.
Oh, mince pie. Tell us how you make it, because I can't talk now.
Well, it's been Daddy's ancient mince meat recipe, and he just kind of blends it into the classic brownie batter. And he originally he bakes the shortbread biscuit kind of at the bottom as the original layer,
Yeah.
and then pours it on top. Et voila!
It is absolutely
That's
delicious. Seriously, and I don't eat
I
cake
didn't expect
or
that.
brownies.
That's really nice.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather eat that. No, I do love mince pies, but I would also quite happily eat one of those instead.
I'm not touching
As well.
pies again.
They are
It's these from now on.
All the way.
They're really, really yummy, and I think it's so lovely that he makes all of the items himself, and at least we know what's going into it. Because if you
Yeah.
buy jarred stuff, you've got all of these bizarre scientific names of things where it should just be apple, or raisin. It shouldn't sound like a paracetamol package, should it? Really?
No. So Christmas is busy. Are you going to events as well?
Yes, so we weren't going to do any events
Right.
this year, but we just had so many of our lovely customers. They're putting on things at village halls and stuff, and we think it's so important to connect with our local customers because they are our biggest cheerleaders. They're the ones that, buy the box and then go and order online and send it to their cousin in Northumberland or somewhere. So we just love it. And I tell you what, we did one at the weekend and I got so emotional seeing these people that have come to see us. I was like almost crying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hello you. How's your leg? How's the dog? It was just so emotional. It was wonderful to see everybody. So, yeah, it's kind of a bit of an ego boost to see everybody because
Why not? Why not? You work so hard and it is so rewarding when you get that sort of feedback.
Yeah, it's just so lovely seeing people.
Yeah.
And then they tell us the stories behind it as well. And, some of the gift cards, you read them and you're like, oh, the story is behind that. And when they see remember I told you about blah, blah, well, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, wow.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Yeah. And what about Christmas itself? Will you actually take the day?
So yes, we do get Christmas Day and Boxing Day off, but after that it is all hands to the pump because we have so many people ordering between Christmas and New Year for New Year's parties. And then you would think that January would be dead, but basically all of the Christmas gift subscriptions that people have bought
Of course,
they start in January. So January is normally absolutely mental. We turned over more money in January last year than we did in December.
Good grief. And we were in a full lockdown too. Of course, so that's a perfect service that you've offered, and it remains now too. Absolutely gorgeous. So you won't be eating brownies on Christmas Day? I take it something else.
We always eat brownies. We can't help ourselves, honestly. I mean, we'll have, there'll be a bit of sushi, a bit of this, bit of that, bit more traditional sort of meal. Of course, Luke makes the most phenomenal roast dinners. Yeah. So it will be amazing. And there's always brownies involved. Bit of ice cream, bit of cream, slightly warmed up,
Oh, brandy cream. Oh. We looked for that the other day in the supermarket. They're not selling it yet.
I couldn't find it. No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Yesterday.
No, you nearly put the trolley out to the side and walked out.
Well, that's it, yes.
Just go with the Baileys, darling. We're all friends here.
It's true. Right, Charlotte, we could talk to you all day, but I know you're busy. And where are you going next?
So next, I've got a very important meeting with the supermarket chain.
Okay,
yes,
that sounds very exciting.
Can't say any more.
No, okay.
But yes, it's a very busy day for me today. And yes, I've got to get today's orders out as well. I haven't even done that yet. So,
oh, well, they're waiting. You're spending time with us. It's very nice.
It's very nice.
Nice and I think we're going to be very full in about... There are 6 brownies here. They're very delicious. So lunch, tea, maybe. Right. Thank you very much for joining us, Charlotte. It's been such a pleasure to meet you and obviously taste the brownie, but your business and Luke, you just sound so happy, and we're so pleased that you're so successful, and go and buy their brownies because they promise you they are delicious. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That's okay. Thanks for listening to the Suffolk Pod Show. Find us on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram, or you can visit our website, podtalk.co.uk. And here's our disclaimer.
The Suffolk Pod Show will not be held responsible for any omissions or errors in its podcast.
The Suffolk Pod Show is produced purely for entertainment purposes. Views and opinions are that of our own or that of our guests.